Yo, pay attention to this video.
The facility will have up to 5,000 beds to house, process, and deport criminal illegal aliens. This is an efficient and low-cost way to help carry out the largest mass deportation campaign in American history.
Now listen, hear me out. This the quickest and the fastest I ever seen these people do something that they really want done. They done really put together a detention center to house criminal illegal immigrants. Now listen, the name of it is Allegator Alcatraz. This is located in Florida, in the Everglades. Now listen, in the Everglades, they have python, mosquitoes, alligators. Pythons, mosquitoes, and alligators. So I was watching the people interviewing the governor down there, and it was like, are y'all going to put up fences? He said, oh, ain't no need to put up no fences because it's nowhere to run. I can understand. And from looking from the video, it's really nowhere to run. Like, where these people going to run to? It's a bunch of alligators, pythons, and insects. Yo, when I tell y'all this is crazy, this is beyond crazy. The detention center opens as of tomorrow, I think. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comments, because this is crazy. And TikTok, this is for entertainment purpose only. I'm only on here to bring awareness to my friends for educational purposes only. Y'all like, share, comment, and repost. Bye, y'all.
You're calling it Allegator Alcatraz. Are you fucking kidding me? If you missed it, Trump is headed to a low-cost immigrant detention camp built by Ron DeSatan in the Florida Everglades. According to Triple K Caroline, quote, the only way out is via a one-way flight, and it's surrounded by dangerous wildlife. You cannot be fucking serious. Listen, I know most maggots are 10-watt bulbs and 200-watt sockets, but let me see if I can make this crystal fucking clear for you. A large concentration of folks deemed undesirable by the government put in a camp with no due process. If only there were some historical similarities there. Oh wait, they might as well fucking write hard work will set you free above the entrance. And oh yeah, as for the whole low cost and efficiency thing, the expected spending on this is $450 million to intern 1,000 people. Not a great look for the party of fiscal responsibility. So when I tell you, soulless, loathsome, maggot pieces of shit to get fucked, this is why. This is the side of history that you're supporting.
If this isn't where you draw your line, there is no line for you.
In the heart of the Everglades, and will be informally known as Allegator Alcatraz. There is only one road leading in, and the only way out is a one-way flight. It is isolated and surrounded by dangerous wildlife and unforgiving terrain.
I have no words. Their hatred for human dignity is out in the open. No one's trying to hide it there. And if this is something that we're going to do in the name of Christian values, then we might as well kiss Christian values goodbye. If you decide to align Alcatraz, Allegator Alcatraz with Christian values, you have created your own heresy. Or maybe joined one that's been existent, which is called Christian nationalism. Jesus would never, ever, and the only thing stopping me from getting on a plane right now and blocking the building of that myself is my bank account. I might still do it anyway. Who knows? But this is absurd.
So have we decided to boycott and stop tourism to Florida yet? Asking for everybody. Allegator Alcatraz is wild. Building a concentration camp, let's just call it what it is, surrounded by alligators and snakes in Florida. And to listen to the governor, Rhonda, I can't do this, get on this internet and just continually refer to these immigrants as illegals, illegals, illegals. Illegals to me feels like a new slur. Being in a black community, I remember when Trump popularized the term thugs to describe black folks. And it was just another way to say the N-word. I feel like we're there with the way certain folks throw around the word illegals. There's this video of Ron DeSantis giving this tour of Alligator Alcatraz, and he just keeps referring to them as illegals, 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 knowing full well that what's currently happening in today's political climate, ICE agents are rounding up individuals without giving them due process and sticking them in camps, putting them on planes that have ramps that open up over the ocean, or sending them to these hardened places in Venezuela. Like, there's so much going on. But yeah, let's book a trip to go vacation in Orlando. Let's go to Disney. Like, what are we doing? We protest with our dollars.
Listen, Allegator Alcatraz is a facility that's going to be housing criminal immigrants in the Everglades in Florida. I could have this wrong, but I think it's going to house about 5,000. Hold on, let me check. Yeah, 5,000 beds will be in this facility. And like I said, it's in the Everglades. And, you know, if you know anything about the Everglades, it's known for like the alligators, Allegator Alcatraz, pythons, and like, you know, basically animals that are not, you know, forgiving in any way, shape, or form. So clearly the goal is to keep these people in this facility, and, you know, the probability of like true escape is minimal to none. I was looking at a clip of Caroline Leavitt, and the way that she was speaking of this place, Alligator Alley, with such joy and glee, it was like I was confused, sickened, and angered all at the same time. If you get a chance, look at the clip of her. Look up Alligator Alley, Caroline Leavitt, and let me know what you think. Because this is on another level of evil. The joy that she was getting from explaining this in this press conference was unbelievable. I mean, we know there's evil in this world. I mean, whatever, right? That it's obvious. But the amount of evil and nastiness that we are experiencing at this time in our lives is unbelievable. But not unbelievable, if that makes sense. Their day is coming. I don't know when. None of us do. But it's coming. Because there's no way that someone or people in general that operate like this can continue on this type of rampage. This is crazy. This is crazy. Alligator Alcatraz? This is nuts.
Anybody see that new ICE detention center? I'm saying, like, is it even worth it? Do you even just stay wherever you're at, bro? It's not even worth it. You're just gonna come here and get put in a detention center in the fucking Everglades, surrounded by like 10,000 alligators. Can't even swim. I mean, you could try, but you know, just, you know, don't. I wouldn't. I'm just saying, like, they're making it very, very clear and transparent. If you're not coming here properly, the right way, legally, not only are we gonna take you the fuck out of our country, we're gonna make you go through some shit. Like, dog, it's what you gonna come here for? Like, what? It's a better life for your family. You're gonna pick fucking fruits and vegetables for 7 cents an hour. Believe me, it's not worth it. Stay wherever you are. Trust me. America's great, but you know, not with that salary.
The Allegator Alcatraz that is being built in the Florida Everglades, it is being funded by FEMA. $450 million a year. They are using the Shelter and Service Program through FEMA to build a detention center, a program that is supposed to help migrants, give them housing, food, transportation, medical care. They're using that to build them a prison. There's another word that I want to use, but I cannot without this getting flagged. The money is there to help migrants be treated like human beings and not fucking criminals like it's being used for. I also just find it so fucking rich that is $450 million a year to keep this detention center open while they are actively pushing a fucking bill that is going to gut Medicaid to the point where people unalive. What the fuck? What the fuck?
So they're going to be building a new detention facility called Allegator Alcatraz in the Florida Everglades, according to Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary. Now, this place is supposed to house up to 1,000 people. It's going to cost taxpayers about $450 million. And my thing is this. You've got $450 million to spend to build a detention facility for undocumented, or as you say, illegal immigrants, but you're not willing to compromise with the so-called big beautiful bill and leave Medicaid intact, leave SNAP intact for American citizens, but you want to take $450 million of taxpayer dollars to build a new detention facility to house illegal immigrants. And she seems so delighted talking about it today. Make it make sense to me, folks, because it don't make sense to me at all.
Not only is she calling it Alligator Alcatraz, they're acting like they're flying down here to go to an amusement park, Disney World. The excitement in her voice is very troubling. You don't know what I'm talking about? Hold on a minute.
Tomorrow, President Trump will travel to the great state of Florida to attend the opening of a new illegal alien detention center located at Dade Collier Training and Transition Airport alongside Secretary Kristi Noem, Governor Ron DeSantis, Congressman Byron Donalds, and other state and local leaders. We hope to see many of you there. The facility is in the heart of the Everglades and will be informally known as Allegator Alcatraz. There is only one road leading in, and the only way out is a one-way flight. It is isolated and surrounded by dangerous wildlife and unforgiving terrain. The facility will have up to 5,000 beds to house, process, and deport criminal illegal aliens. This is an efficient and low-cost way to help carry out the largest mass deportation campaign in American history.
Now, before y'all start, I have said that I do believe that there is an immigration issue here in the United States. But my problem is the way that it's being carried out. There are people, innocent people, who have been deported, who've been picked up, who've been deported, people who have been kidnapped. We do know that there are some agents that won't even identify themselves. So we don't know for sure if they're really agents in some cases. Those things are very troubling. But what really bothers me, being here in Florida, is that we're in the middle of hurricane season. And Trump administration has decided that they were going to start to limit information to key hurricane forecasters. Now, why? Why would you do that? Why would you limit the amount of data that's given to them to tell us, the people, to be aware that a hurricane is coming? Because of the reduction of funding, we won't even know, like we used to know, that a hurricane may be coming a week in advance, days in advance, and how many hurricanes are behind that hurricane. We may not get access to that information anymore because of a decrease in funding. But y'all want to hop down here to Miami and create this massive detention center to hold up to 5,000 beds, and you have lost focus on the people who are supposed to be here. Nobody's coming to save us. I've said it before. I'll say it now. This is hell. Now, whether there's a hell after this, whatever you believe is what you believe, but I believe that this, that we're living, is hell. Let me know what you think in the comments, and have the day you deserve.
Allegator Alcatraz. Yes, that is what they are calling this detention center that they wish to erect within the Florida Everglades. And center would be a very generous term, considering that they are wanting to do so quickly with the use of things like tents and small trailers. This is meant to be a temporary place to house detainees until they can be deported. But the moniker Allegator Alcatraz is really eliciting a lot of emotion, rightfully so, from people who are hearing it, and from myself. Now, I am going to make a connection here that I want to preface by saying I understand is a stretch, and I also understand could be very triggering for many people. So I'm going to add a trigger warning right here before I proceed. One for racist history of the United States, particularly as it applies to the African American community. And now, likewise, to any immigrant who is in danger of being rounded up and deported just because they don't look the same as maybe I do. So Allegator Alcatraz, being called that because it's going to be placed in the middle of the Everglades and surrounded by marshland that is inhabited by creatures such as alligators and even pythons, as those have proliferated since people have let pets go out there in the swamps. But alligators. I would ask you if you know of the term, again, trigger warning, if you know of the term alligator bait or gator bait. This is something I didn't know until not that long ago, but this is actually something well documented in American history, and is the idea of black babies being used to lure and bait alligators. Now, when you research into it, there are those who argue there is no historic basis to believe that it was ever actually done as a consistent practice, or even done at all. But then there are other historians who argue that there is evidence that it did indeed happen, even if it wasn't widespread. But what we do know is that it was a very prominent phrase and idea in popular culture in the late 1800s and early 1900s. This idea that alligators were particularly drawn to the flesh of black individuals, as disgusting as that idea might be. And this was so much so, in fact, that there is imagery from the time period. It doesn't take long to find it when you start to search. Newspaper articles, poems and songs and artwork of the time. It was a popular idea, this idea of baiting alligators with young black babies. And when I first started hearing them call this proposed camp Allegator Alcatraz, I couldn't help but have flashes of the images of that idea of alligator bait. You see, here we are in 2025, and there is a subset of the population which another part of the population has deemed less than, subhuman. They've decided they don't deserve to be here. They should be sent away, eradicated, if you will. The rhetoric and the language choices of the current administration have worked to turn the perspectives of too many Americans against the immigrant population, turn their perspectives to a point where they now no longer see these individuals as human. They are alien. They are illegal. They don't deserve to be here in their eyes. And as someone who has tried very hard to become more informed about our racist history in this country, to become more aware and cognizant of the ways that we still engage in very racist practices here in the United States. As someone who just has a tendency to think really hard about these things and is disgusted by what she has seen when it comes to mass deportations and the efforts related to that, as someone who falls in this category, I cannot help but see the parallels, and I wonder how many people are also seeing them along with me. I know that those people have to be out there. And if I'm way off base with this and what I am saying is offensive to anyone, I do apologize, because that's never my intention. But it's something that's been nagging at me ever since I started reading the headlines saying Allegator Alcatraz, especially when it's a place that's going to house immigrants. another set of people who are, by and large, and typically not white, or at least not Western European white.
Let's talk about Alligator Alcatraz, and let's call it what it is. This is purely a publicity stunt, a political publicity stunt, propaganda to hype up the bloodlust of their base, and most importantly, to distract them and all of us from the erosion, degradation of our constitutional rights, and the stealing of our public lands, the stealing of our social services, the stealing of our health care, and the stealing of our tax dollars, our money, our resources, and our labor, to siphon all of that up to the corporations and the billionaires at the top. We should not be looking left or right on the political spectrum to find our enemies. We should be looking up. And these humans that they have illegally kidnapped, because we have a right to due process in the United States. If you haven't read the Constitution, they're counting on you to not read it also. And every person, regardless of documentation in the U.S., has a right to due process, a right to a trial, to defend themselves and to prove their legality. Because if they don't get the chance to prove their documentation, then nobody does. Then that means they can pick up anybody, call you illegal, and take you away, send you away, or let you die in one of these camps. And even if they are undocumented, which many of them are in the process of documentation and are which is completely legal for them to be here, even if they are undocumented, that is not a crime. It is not a crime. Anybody who told you it was a crime lied to you and is counting on you not looking it up. It is a civil misdemeanor to be undocumented, just like a traffic ticket. It is illegal to cross the border. The action of crossing illegally is illegal. Actions and objects can be illegal. Human beings cannot be. So these kidnapped people who are being human trafficked are not illegal, but the actions of the people who are kidnapping them, who are acting like judge, jury, and executioner, are acting illegally. These are illegal actions they are taking. They are masking themselves, they are not showing identification, and they are stealing people off the streets. Fathers, sons, mothers, daughters, children, they are stealing them off the streets. Now, regardless of the legality of any of this, I think we all know it is immoral and wrong. It is ethically wrong to treat other human beings, any other living thing, this way. They are purposely attempting to treat people sadistically, and they are reveling in it. So let me say that again. They are purposely dehumanizing, sadistically talking about torturous situations, treating them inhumanely, and they are reveling in it. They are proud of it. That is extremely dangerous for every one of us. Extremely dangerous for this entire planet and every being living on it. There is no benefit really to putting this detention center, it's a death camp, out in Big Cypress. The only benefit they have is this publicity stunt aspect of it, fear mongering, and keeping it away from the eyes of the public so they can get away with more inhumane actions on these poor people. Building this camp out in Big Cypress costs us our tax dollars, our money, much more, millions and millions of dollars more than it would if they, used an existing empty building in a city, which would already have sewer hookup, which would already have running water, which would already have trash disposal, which would already have electricity, all of which they're going to have to bring and ship in food and water constantly. They claim that FEMA is going to refund the Floridians' tax dollars, but that's not a guarantee. This administration has already said they're planning on completely defunding FEMA. So they might pay for some of it upfront or reimburse some of it upfront, but not in the coming years. So we'll be paying for this, and we're currently paying for it. And that FEMA money should be used for disasters, many of which we will soon be facing this hurricane season. Again, the point of this entire thing is distraction. This is distraction from the degradation of our constitutional rights and the stealing of our money and natural resources up to the 1%. Our governor has claimed that this project will have no environmental impact on Big Cypress or the Everglades, but that's obviously not true. He has not done any environmental impact studies or surveys, and we can tell you just the amount of trucks coming in and out, the amount of pollution they're bringing, the amount of sewage, the amount of gas they'll be burning, driving all the way out there, the amount of tire dust alone, which has one of the most toxic pollutants for aquatic life on Earth, which releases 6 ppd, toxic for us too, but especially toxic for aquatic animals. There's so many environmental impacts. Just the amount of increase in traffic on the road and roadkill deaths alone are going to be massive. And it also has the impact of cracking open the door to further degrade and misuse our public lands. They claim in their promo video that they put out, our state attorney general, James Utmeyer, put out, which is, it reads like a action movie trailer. It is, just sadistic, because they claim that they're not going to have to put up much fences or perimeter protection because people will be faced with pythons and gators if they try to leave. Well, let me tell you, those people are much safer with the pythons and gators, which will most likely run from them, than they would be around any of these masked, iced kidnappers. And they'd probably have more of a likelihood of escaping out there in Big Cypress than they would if this were in downtown Miami, right? Good luck finding someone out there, right? And that belief, those statements, it just goes to show you how scared they are of nature. They're scared of the natural world. They call Big Cypress a cesspool when it's dripping in orchids and air plants and beautiful birds and fish. It's gorgeous out there. It's gorgeous. There's a lot of dangerous heat. Hurricanes are dangerous, and the mosquitoes are certainly dangerous, but that's about it. So if you're afraid of Big Cypress, as my grandmother would say, you're a sissy. And it also shows me how uneducated you are, how you devalue the ecosystems that are our life support, that all life on Earth rely upon. These ecosystems that very few of them in the US are continuing to function. They are degrading, and they are providing services to us that no man, no government, no human technology can provide for us in the way that they do. We rely on them for our food, for pollination, for decomposition, for carbon sequestration, for the buffering of extreme weather like hurricanes, for the filtering pollutants out of our water, cleaning our air, providing the oxygen that we breathe. We don't get that without ecosystems that function. And that's what they're really attacking here. They're attacking all of us. They're attacking the dignity and the sanctity of all life on Earth. And if you are getting distracted by political propaganda on either direction, you are missing the point. Please pay attention.
Have you heard about Allegator Alcatraz? ¿Ya viste eso del Allegator Alcatraz? Yes? No? Tal vez? Well, buckle up, because what's happening aquí in Florida is straight up dystopian. Es otro nivel de locura. Buried deep in the Everglades, surrounded by alligators, pythons, swamp heat, you'll find Florida's latest migrant detention center. Sí, ahí en el centro de los Everglades, montaron el nuevo centro de detención para migrantes. And get this, it's set to open tomorrow, July 1st. And guess who's showing up to cut the ribbon? Ding, 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 Donald Trump and Kristi Noem. Because nothing says land of the free like celebrating a swamp prison, right? You heard it right. They're locking up immigrants, families, children, in tents and other temporary facilities on an abandoned airstrip, 45 miles from civilization. No access to lawyers, no press, no medical care, just heat, isolation, and a few thousand reptiles standing guard. They're calling it temporary. They're calling it necessary. Let's be real. It's strategic. This is cruelty with a budget and a blueprint. $450 million a year to run a swamp prison that no one's supposed to see. Oh, and how could I forget? It's hurricane season. Sí, lo oíste bien. Justo cuando empieza la temporada de huracanes. So while DeSantis brags about they ain't going anywhere thanks to the Gators, thousands of human beings will be trapped in tents while Category 3 and 4 storms barrel across the state. This isn't pro-life. This isn't pro-family. And it sure the hell isn't pro-America. It's sadistic. If this doesn't light a fire in you, you're not paying attention. Y presta atención. Because this isn't just a swamp prison. It's a test run. And if they can get away with it in Florida, they're going to try it all over the place. Esto no es solo una cárcel en los Everglades. Es una prueba. Y si les salen bien aquí en el estado de Florida, lo van a intentar por todas partes. Don't look away. Share this. Call it what it is. Inhumane. And remind them loud and clear. Human rights don't stop where the border begins. Cuéntame qué piensas en los comentarios. Por favor, comparte este video. Y si tú eres un latino por Trump, de verdad espero que nadie que conozcas acabe ahí.